What's going on, guys? Nate here, and The Witcher 3 and Skyrim are two of the most successful RPGs we've seen in the last decade. Both of them have been hailed as setting entire new standards for the genre as a whole. With The Witcher 3 coming out about 4 years after Skyrim, it seems to have definitely taken some inspiration from how Bethesda handled their world design and environmental storytelling. But that all said, I think it also established a lot of its own cues that Bethesda would be smart to pick up on for themselves. So without further ado, here's what I believe the Elder Scrolls 6 and Bethesda can learn from The Witcher 3's success. Starting off is combat. Now, I in no way mean to be the beater of a very long since dead horse, but combat has never been something Bethesda's particularly thrived at, and with Skyrim's melee largely consisting of 4 options: hit hard, block, and block hit, whereas The Witcher 3 was able to incorporate dodging, parrying, positioning, and crowd control, all being major factors of its own swordplay. Additionally, opponents would react in a more noticeable way whenever you were able to connect a blow. It all around delivered a feeling of more control to the player and elevated the value of one's individual skill. Throughout the Elder Scrolls, there would oftentimes be enemies physically impossible to defeat in combat depending on your level, due to their stats, without resorting to some sort of tactics that felt rather cheesy. Whereas in The Witcher, someone with the right amount of skill can take on pretty much any opponent from the get-go without resorting to anything too cheap. As said, this will only add to the player's freedom. No doubt this would be a major overhaul for Bethesda, but it would certainly be appreciated and a necessary one in my opinion. Moving on is The Witcher's approach to player choices. In some Bethesda games, they've handled this very well, but more recently in Fallout 4, and admittedly to a much lesser extent in Skyrim, I think they could have done a bit better. Witcher did a good job at ensuring most choices you made were tough ones, and their impact would be felt later on in the game, be it with subtle reminders or major changes in the game's direction as a whole. In my opinion, Bethesda did a great job with this in Fallout 3, with decisions such as the destruction or preservation of Megaton, the 10-penny tower dilemma, and others bearing permanent consequences. It would be nice to see Bethesda pick this one back up, not only in their next Elder Scrolls title, but in anything else they decide to do or have done. Starfield! Next up is better enemy diversity. What I mean by this is that Skyrim had a lot of foes, be it bandits, Falmer, trolls, dare I say Stormcloaks, but The Witcher 3 had a lot more. And on top of that, enemies acted in their own unique ways. Some would attack fast, but deal little damage. Others did the exact opposite, and there was greater variety in bosses and how they fought. In Skyrim, Fallout, or any other Bethesda game for that matter, a boss is basically just a normal enemy with increased stats. Witcher 3 made most boss fights memorable. Most of them were with huge, unique beasts that, much like normal enemies, had their own attack styles and weaknesses. It almost reminded me of Dark Souls in a weird way. In Skyrim, pretty much everything, with the arguable exception of dragons, seems to fight the same, be it an end dungeon drugger, whatever you call those weird things, or dragon priest. Little of Skyrim's casual enemies or bosses felt memorable to me, and a change here would definitely be something I'd look forward to. For those of you who remember the Alduin final boss fight in Skyrim, the one that was, I guess you can say, so well built up, it was ultimately a rather pitiful one. It felt like any other normal dragon, just minus a couple of small changes here and there. If Skyrim was able to incorporate elements from The Witcher in their boss fights, I think it would go a lot better, so I'm really hoping for change in this department. But with that, we're going to wrap up. What notes would you like to see Bethesda take based on what other open world games have done? And what would you like to see those games learn from Bethesda? Personally, I'd like The Witcher to let me wear a damn helmet once in a while, but that's about as likely as COD ditching supply drops, so we'll have to see about that one. I hope you all enjoyed. If so, a like rating is always very much appreciated. Links can be found in the description down below: Instagram, Tinder, Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff down there, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody.